Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I'm here this lovely Monday morning with my other half. I don't know better. Depends on the day. Mordechai is with us today, and we are excited to share with you the Kabbalistic wisdom on creating a spiritual sanctuary, a sacred space. And we'll talk about physical space versus spiritual space and everything in between. But we're doing this because the energy this week, and there's different influences that we'll break down momentarily, but there is this added support to create spiritual structure in our life. And we've had many episodes on space cleansing and meditation and rituals and things like that. But today we really wanted to be more focused on how to create and designate, almost like to create your own energy centers, energy vortexes, spiritual havens for you to connect, to feel grounded in. We've talked about the home and how to create a spiritual home. So this is really going to be a much more focused episode. And there's also some interesting shifts in the energy this week that we'll talk about at the end that will help us also harness our own energy within our personal space, regardless of where we physically are. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast in which we aim to provide our listeners with the most powerful and practical tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We do that by gleaning through the wisdom of Kabbalah and selecting the most poignant and powerful wisdom and tools that'll help you navigate the week. But inevitably, we end up providing our listeners with stuff you can use any day of the week, any week of the year. And again, this is no different. You may have not even thought about creating a spiritual space for yourself. And this week's episode is going to help you understand the value of it. That is why we have Mordechai on the episode today, because if you've been listening for any period of time, you know he is our resident space invader. No, space cleanser.
Also space invader.
Also my personal space invader, as well as really one of the Kabbalah Center's experts on energy clearing, physical space. He's traveled the globe using the Kabbalistic tools for cleansing, and even, looking without even having to travel. He does work on Zoom with people, helping them to diagnose the challenges in their physical space and working on creating a lighter, more spiritually conductive space for you to do your business, to live your life, to have a home, etc. So we're talking today about creating that spiritual space. And I want to go from simple to abstract, or focus to abstract. When we talk about having spiritual space, and we often tell our students, you should have a meditation chair or somewhere that you do your connecting, your spiritual practice on a regular basis. Why is that even important?
Reminds me of the song, I Traveled the World in the Seven Seas. Eurythmics. There's so...
Sweet Dreams. It's called Sweet Dreams, by the way.
I almost sang it, but I was holding myself back.
We appreciate that.
Thank you. So I think maybe we can start with the core understandings that our house, our home, right? Someone buys a house, but they're not buying the house. They want to get the energy of the home. And a lot of our efforts, intentionally, consciously, or subconsciously, are about making it a home. And the idea of the home is really our vessel. It's our headquarters of manifesting who we're meant to be. And that is why the sages, the Kabbalists, throughout the years have put, and the Zohar, the main text of Kabbalah, talks a lot about the importance of seeing your vessel, whether it's your home, your spouse. If you have a spouse, your spouse is also your home. It's your vessel. And sanctifying, if that's the right word, and making it holy. And not necessarily holy with H-O, but also holy in terms of WH, right? Like making it whole, making it complete, investing the energy in building the home, the vessel, and the Kabbalists give many recommendations about it, allows you to flourish, allows you to manifest your energy, allows you to remove any resistance, any energy that doesn't serve you well. And that is going to design, interior design, that is touching the energy of directions. I would say in many ways it's the origins of the feng shui, it's the Kabbalistic feng shui. It's the energy you bring to your home. It's how you conduct yourself while you're in the home, because the walls absorb the energy, whether it's love or whether it's an argument. And it's really amazing because the Zohar, the main text of Kabbalah, talks about the idea that the walls absorb the energy. And I mean, there's so many times, and this is part of where the magic, the mystical part of Kabbalah comes to picture, comes to play, because I would say 99% of the time, and we went to hundreds of places together with my colleague Yuda Ashkenazi to cleanse different spaces. It's hard to explain it in words, but it's almost like the walls are talking. And I think I can already write a book on the different experiences. I mean, if you've seen the movie Constantine with Keanu Reeves, that's the extreme side.
And for those of us who haven't seen it?
For those of us that haven't seen it, it's recommended to watch it, but just keep in mind that the movie can be intense. And I recommend, if you have the Zohar with you, to scan the Zohar afterwards. But it's to appreciate the energy that is available to us, and the energy, the gifts of the different Kabbalistic tools, whether it's the power of the Zohar to cleanse our home, to cleanse our energy, or whether it's the power of the special Moroccan herbs that we bring. We literally bring it from Morocco, besides the sage. And the moment we start the space cleansing, and we also do the, I would say, the personal cleansing, the moment we start, the herbs get even an energy boost, extra energy. I mean, if you do it just yourself, you might feel something. But the moment the energy field of the Kabbalah Center is infused into the Moroccan herbs, it's a mystical experience. I never had, in the hundreds of places that we went to, from experiences of love, and really you feel angelic energies, to the other extreme side. I never had one person that said, you know what, it was okay. You know, it wasn't like, wow, I was blown away. Every single individual, what the space cleansing does is amplifying the good, releasing energy that doesn't serve you, and adding energy that serves you the most. So that's one thing that we can do. Of course, we can change the design. We can be mindful on what we're saying and how we conduct ourselves in our house, in our home, because our home is our temple. It's our shrine. It's where we bring the energy, and everything from our home is amplified. So everything that we are experiencing is going to be broadcast to the whole world. So we want to be mindful about it, that we want to bring more energy of love, and many times, and support, and prosperity, and abundance. And many times we say to the individuals, we are just rebooting for you. We're just resetting the energy of the home, which there are 4 ways to do it, but this is the strongest way. We're just resetting the energy of the home. Now it's in your hands. This is good for roughly a year, but now it's in your hands. What energy do you want to bring to the home? In other words, if someone did a detox, a cleanse in their body, and afterwards they go back to eat garbage, I mean, they did the cleansing, it did something, but what's the benefit if the individual goes back to where they were before? But
it's so interesting that you bring up a point that we touched on a few weeks ago in the Q&A episode, where someone said they were asking about tools to cleanse negativity from previous negative actions like gossip and stuff like that. Yeah. So we talked about the danger of doing something negative, knowing that there is a tool that can fix it afterwards. That's like the worst kind of negativity, right? That you say, okay, I know I can transform this, so I'm going to,
rinse and repeat.
Rinse
and repeat. Yes. What's rinse?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It's a word you made up.
It's a new word.
Yes.
Rinse and repeat.
It's not a Kabbalistic word. But so the idea is that we want our listeners to know that there are tools for cleansing and purification and for bringing a person and a space to a more elevated stage. But we also want to make sure that on a fundamental level, we understand that the goal for all of these tools is to heal. This is exactly what we spoke about a few weeks ago, to heal the cracks that we created unintentionally. If you're creating cracks intentionally, the tools are not going to be so effective. When we think about creating a space for spiritual connection, right? A lot of people feel, and this is I think one of the most beautiful things that happened as a result of COVID, is that all these religious houses of worship were shut down for whatever period of time, even if it was just a week or two. There was almost like a banishment, if you will. And a lot of the world that did practice, had some sort of religious observance or communal observance, had to find a way to do it at home, which I think created a new, I don't want to say customer, but a new need for this product of, here's where I make my spiritual connections. This is in my home. This is where I pray. And I had spoken to, again, this is going back almost 3 years, but I had spoken to people who said, listen, I have roommates. I'm not in control of all the energy that comes into my house and goes out of my house. I don't know all the people that I live, or I don't know the friends of all of my roommates. So how can I be responsible for my space or for creating that space when I'm not completely in charge of the energy that enters the space that I live in? So I was hoping that we could also, in an ideal situation, you own your home, you're on the same page spiritually with everyone in your home. But the fact of the matter is, not only is that not the case for everybody, but we're all in different situations throughout life. I mean, sometimes you have to travel. Sometimes it's for a good reason to a beautiful location, and sometimes it's for either business or an unfortunate reason. And so the Kabbalists talk about, on one hand, the need to create that space, and I want to talk about how to help people who live in unusual living situation to create that space, but also how do you create a portable space, right? When you travel, whenever you're not in let's say in an ideal situation, you have your meditation chair, you have and I want to talk about what's important to have in those spaces also. You have all the elements that make you feel connected. How do you bring that with you into the space that doesn't belong to you, or into a space that you're in super temporarily? What's important for that is the traveling spiritual person?
So there are, as I said, there are 4 ways to cleanse a space, which are corresponding to the 4 elements that we are made of. So we have fire, and that's done with the herbs that I mentioned, or you can even do it with sage if you're traveling. There's water, which some people use a fountain, but you can wash the space. That's a way to do it. So that's another thing. If you are traveling to a place or you live in near a place that has a source of water, especially ocean, and when there is like continuous movement, that the water are not standing, it's good during the day, not during the night, during the day to open the windows or maybe the doors, so the energy, the vibe of the ocean, of the water will be cleansing the space. So that's the water element. There's the earth element, which is more difficult when you're traveling, but the earth element is renovation. When people renovate, when people paint, that's why it's good if you're already traveling and you can control picking the place that you're going to stay in that was recently renovated or recently new, or
saying the newer the physical building, the better for
exactly,
you.
or renewed, or they bought new furniture. That allows the energy to cleanse in terms of the earth element. And in terms of the air, you can travel with today there are like also mini air purifiers. And if you're next to, as I said, the ocean view, ocean mountain energy, that you can open the windows during the day and let the air cleanse the space. The strongest one is the fire one. And when we travel, I take with me a little kit, try not to activate the smoke alarms, and we do a mini space cleansing, recommended during the day, not at night, because it's different energy at night. There's more resistance, and manifesting that. On top of that, there are many tiny things that you can do, whether it's when you're traveling or whether it's when you're at home. It can be even when you get to the place that you're going to, try to see as much as you can to move things around in the room as much as possible. Like, don't go crazy, to make you feel the most comfortable with the energy. That's number one. Plants, if there's like any natural like living plants, that's great. Recently, by the way, one of my colleagues told me, this is really amazing, that they found, Israeli scientists found that the plants actually communicate, they make sounds, which is like very specific frequency. They make sound when they're hungry, when they're thirsty, and when they are under stress, when they are hurt. Really, really amazing stuff. So they communicate with each other and with the world. And so it's another proof that they are alive. Remove any plastic plants because it's not energy of life. So even if you're traveling to a certain, let's say, hotel room, and there's like a place that you can take out without destroying the place, take out the stuff that is not alive. Even statues, if you have gifts.
So where do you put it if you're in a hotel room?
If you can put it in the balcony, like take it outside, or put it in a closet that is not interfering with your space. Might be like 5-minute walk, but it's definitely worth it. If pictures in your home that you have, that you can even if it's a picture of your family that you can take with you. If you have it on your device, great, but you can have a picture that you travel with.
So you're talking about the importance of bringing your own energy wherever you go with you. The more of your own energy you can bring with you, what's the result? What's the result of doing all these things? What's the intended outcome?
So you bring the energy of your home, of your personal vessel, your personal manifestation. So you create your own energy field within the energy field of wherever you're going to. Let me be clear. It's not going to be 100% how you feel it. There's nothing like home. And Elisheva can be my witness that I have a full suitcase with the stuff that I bring with me every time we travel. And it's not a small
By the
suitcase.
way, it's not just you.
It's the biggest size.
David also joked in a recent episode that he
Right.
brings everything, the
Remember
pillow,
that
the whole
Everything.
thing.
Everything,
Can we
yeah.
talk about for a few minutes what the essential elements are for creating a space? And I'm going to say it can even be in your bedroom, although if you can do it in a different room. So we want to make sure that everybody understands, even if you have only your room as your personal space, it's still possible to do it. Although the ideal is to do it outside of the bedroom because there's different spiritual work that happens inside the bedroom. What are the essential elements to creating a location in your home for spiritual connection? Maybe there's a direction that the chair or the couch should face. Like, let's get into what can be the most powerful elements to bring into as you're creating that space.
Right. So it depends. What are you looking for? What's your goal? So according to the Kabbalist, north in your home or in every space, north is where abundance, sustenance, prosperity comes from. That's the direction you want to be sitting if you're doing, let's say, if
That's
you're
where you
walking
want to face.
Yeah, no, that's where you want to be sitting. Let's say
So
if
in the
that's
northern
your office,
side
if
of the
you're-
room.
Yes.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, if your office is in the house, try to see if you can take the room that is at the north part of your home. And even if not, sit at the north, facing the south, or facing. It doesn't matter as long as you are at the northern part. South represents the energy of wisdom. So if you want to be doing meditations, you want to have spiritual connections, you want to study spiritual texts or study classes, you want to reside, when you do that, at the south side. Okay?
So it doesn't matter where you face, it matters within the room.
It's more,
where
yeah,
you're
it's
seated.
more where you're
Okay,
sitting.
that's interesting.
Yeah? The east represents the energy of sharing. So if you want to do, if you want to make a donation, do an act of kindness.
Maybe if you're teaching in a room, you want to be standing in the east.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's the east. And it's interesting because in the Kabbalah Center, when we teach, it's almost always at the east.
Standing in the east. That's so funny.
Yeah. So we give energy in that way. And the south represents the energy of a vessel, of receiving, of manifesting. So if you need to close a business deal, if you want to bring something down to earth, if you want to manifest something, that's where you want to go to the south. So let's say, if you have an important conversation and it's bringing the person down to earth, if you feel you want to be more grounded, if you feel like you're losing a grip, it feels overwhelming, south is where you want to go in terms of the home, so that can be like your grounding space that you get to. On top of the directions, you can also use the energy of purifying your air and also use sound cleansing. Our colleague Yuda Ashkenazi creates Kabbalistic sound vibration. Some of the stuff you can even play it at home. For those that get to do the space cleansing with us, many times we give them as a gift, if they're open to it, also the sound cleansing, that they can play it even on repeat when they're away. So the house keeps on absorbing and it keeps on cleansing.
That's so interesting.
energy.
So you're saying that when you're not at home, you play
Yes.
music that has vibration of what, though? Cleansing?
It cleanses, it brings healing and love and prosperity to the home.
Wow, we're going to get a lot of emails about that.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
We are ready.
You are ready.
We're ready
I
for
am
you.
Not. I am okay. But is there any? I mean, I know, for example, sometimes people put crystals around them, which also, again, has a similar, it's connecting to vibration and cleansing depending on which crystals. We use the Zohar. We put the Zohar in every room in the home, if you can, again, ideally, except the bathroom, except the restroom. We want to, it's actually interesting that that's one of the only place, or one of the only places in which the Kabbalists, discourage spiritual connection, prayer, and meditation.
And we do cleanse even bathrooms, restrooms, showers with the Moroccan herbs, but we do not recite from the holy meditations and from the...
You're silent in the bathroom, even though you bring the spiritual blowtorch goes in the bathroom.
And my colleague doesn't enter with the Zohar. It's just me with the pot with the herbs. And you cannot fully cleanse it, but you can definitely bring it to a better state. But
that's why it's a designated space, because it's like an understanding or an agreement that in this place, in the home or the building or whatever, it's okay for bad stuff to come out, in a way.
Yes, this is the place.
That's the agreement in the building. So it's almost like the physical building is part of that agreement and holds that negativity there, as long as you don't leave the door open and stuff like that.
Yeah, even the Kabbalists recommend, when you are in that zone, it's recommended not to think about holy thoughts. Like something mundane, like I don't want to mention different names of magazines, but you get the idea. Really not to mix those energies. By the way, about crystals, there might be only one challenge with crystals. There's a big part of the crystals that they need their energy to be continuously replenished, because they absorb, let's say, certain negative energy. There are relatively very few crystals
that don't need that.
They don't need that. So that's why we recommend to bring the Zohar.
Do you know the names of any of those crystals? I know we have one. I just don't know what it's called.
You would know, right? It's like the white quartz, if that's the right word. I hope it's the right. Yeah. I don't remember on top of my head what's the right name for it, but
maybe one of our listeners knows.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. So I think one more question that we want to answer is, why is it even a conversation, right? Why, not only in modern times we're discussing this, right? There are places where we have a meditation room at the Kabbalah Centre. We have another room where we do prayer and meditation. Yes. Why does it even need to be a designated space? That's something that I was always curious about. That there, for example, we have where the place in the Kabbalah Centre that the prayer services take place, we call it the war room. Because the war, it sounds funny to say it that way, right, but we're engaging in battle with negative forces, right? Where we use the time that we spend there to diminish the strength of negativity in the world, not only for the people who are participating in the practice, but we do it for the whole world. So why can't it be anywhere? Why does it have to be consistently? Even the Bible goes into the details on how to create a spiritual structure, a structure for prayer, a structure for meditation. Why is that needed if God is everywhere, if the light force of the Creator is everywhere?
So one of the great Kabbalists, Rav Chaim Ben Attar, gives the answer. He says that when you want your prayer to be accepted, because sometimes the answer is no, but when you want the prayer to be accepted, one of the 4 conditions is that you need to be specific with the Creator. You need to tell the Creator exactly what it is that you need. So the Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar is asking, why do you need to tell God? He knows anyway everything. But the answer is that Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar says that when you are specific but not limiting, let's say I want X amount of money. No, I want at least X amount of money. This X amount of money. Not to say exactly how much, because maybe the Creator wants to give me more. But the idea is that when we are specific, we are building a vessel. The Creator knows what you want, but when you are specific, you're building a vessel. When we have areas in our house, in our home, or even in our office, that we designate to specific energies, we are building vessels for different manifestations. For love, for, this is the place to sleep.
And that's part of, by the way, that's what the Kabbalists teach is part of our purpose and the unique value that humanity has in the world, in contrast with animals and the plant life and vegetation and whatnot, is that our role as human beings in the physical reality, as souls wearing bodies in the physical reality, is to create vessels for the light force of the Creator to fill. That's one of our main designated roles in the physical reality, is to create those spaces. And we do that in many different ways. We talk about it in different episodes, what it means to create a vessel. But that, I think, is one of the most important things to emphasize, is that if you create that vessel, you create that space for the light to fill not only the physical space, but also your life.
Right. I mean, it's really being able to consciously open up channels. Imagine that each and every one of the rooms or the spaces in your home is a channel for certain energy to come to the world. Abundance, prosperity, love, sleep, health. You can even have a space that this is your healing space. That I'm going to, even if it's a corner, even if it's a chair, right? I'm going to this space every time I need to replenish my energy. And it's up to you, the energy that you want to make, how you going to make it special. And just one more word about it, because I get many people ask me this question about how tidy, how organized your home should be. For the Virgos, this is not for you, but really to connect with this, it's to understand that if you have people living in your home, especially when it's children, the home is not meant to be a museum. By the way, I admire people that manage to keep their home really amazingly tight and clean and organized.
I heard a really funny concept actually about that. It's called a house mullet. You know what a mullet is?
No.
So it's like the hairstyle where in the front it looks like clear, cut, neat, whatever, and in the back it's long. So it's like you have a house mullet where there's the front of your house looks neat and you can let the rest of your house hang free.
Yeah.
If only I had the space in our house for that, I would do it, but I think it's a clever idea.
So the idea behind it is to keep a balance between organizing your home and
living in
it. So thank you, honey. Mm-hmm. So the idea is really to connect with the energy that I'm making my effort. And I'm not comparing myself to my neighbors. We have a Virgo neighbor, so it's like really every time that you enter their home, it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
And you feel extremely terrible about, the shoes by the door and the sweater hanging on the banister kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's the effort, even if it's you wake up to fix a little bit your bed, to tiny little things. Elisheva likes and I love it as well. I was introduced to it by Elisheva, the Ohio
method,
right? Only
handle it once,
right?
So if it's in your hand, you got to put it where it belongs.
As you go already, you go into the other room, already take that thing with you where it belongs, put it on the way. And really the key is how much effort that you are bringing to the energy, setting your intention. It's good to do a meditation at your home before you start the day. It's good to talk to your home, even in your mind, appreciate your home, inject consciousness. We have other Kabbalistic tools on top of the Zohar, like the mezuzah, which we write on parchments with beautiful consciousness, lots of restrictions that apply. The writer doesn't eat or drink throughout the day from dawn until sunset, and they immerse themselves in water. It's called mikveh. Every time they write the tetragrammaton, the name of God, and it takes roughly around 3 hours to make one, where maybe in other places it's faster because there are less meditations and less intentions. So that's something that you want to place at the door frame, at least of the main entrance, and also recommended very much for your bedroom. So I mean, there's many other things, but we'll keep it, I would say, lighter.
I also want to make sure that we take a couple minutes to talk about the shift in energy this week. We touched on it a couple weeks ago, not in last week's episode, unfortunately, that we are now in this time period in which every week, on top of the weekly energy that we normally discuss, there's an additional influence that begins right now. If you're listening on Monday, we're in one of the best parts of it, the energy. It's called Chesed. It's the first week of what we call the Omer, and these 7 weeks are really a way that a yearly period in which the universe tests our spiritual resilience to see how we've grown. Not that there's a reward or punishment at the end of the process. The reward is really that once we get to the end of these 7 weeks, we genuinely own or have earned the great light that we have invested in these first couple weeks. So on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, we begin the challengingest week of the Omer. It's left column energy. It tends to be, I would say, it's not that it's bad. It's just that it feels the tests and challenges that pop up during this week can feel especially difficult. People can be difficult, especially people who are not spiritually minded and don't know this technology. But I'll give you back the microphone in a second. But the thing that I normally tell people in this period is to be aware that it's smoke and mirrors, that it really is whatever challenges or disagreements or conflicts come up, they're not real. They're not going to last. It's not going to be an issue 6 weeks from now, 5 weeks from now, or whenever they come up. So the best response is to be proactive, is to, obviously you have to handle things, but with detachment, with peace of mind, knowing that it's not about what you do, it's about how you do it, how you handle the challenge, not what you decide, but the way in which you come to that conclusion with the most elevated mindset, with the most compassion for the other person, really in a way, it's almost like a simulation. I know it doesn't feel like it, but it's like walking through a virtual reality simulation. The universe it's a video game in which we're testing our spiritual skills, and the less attached we can be to whatever we're experiencing, the more points we win.
I would like to disagree. I think that the Omer, maybe it's time to set the record straight, and I hope that as many people as possible listen and watch this. As for someone that was born in the Omer period, hint, hint, you can send your gifts. We'll give you the address at the end. It's really a beautiful time. So imagine you won the lottery just the night before the Omer starts. You won the lottery of health, the lottery of freedom, the lottery of consciousness. You won the first prize, the lottery of abundance, the lottery of love. And now you chose, because it's a very big sum, you chose to receive that love, that health, that power to speak your mind, that power to be true to yourself and others, that power of protection. You chose to receive it not in a lump sum, but in payments. 49 payments. That is what the Omer is about. Every day you receive a payment, you receive one out of the 49 payments of the lump sum that you won on the first night before the Omer start, also known as Leil Seder, the first night of Pesach, of Passover. So that's how you want to look at it. There'll be days that it might feel overwhelming. There'll be days that you might not feel like the greatest energy. But every week, every day of the 49 days is a gift. And there's a lot of energy. The Kabbalah is called, which we'll get to it, I guess, in another episode, but the Kabbalah is called the month of Taurus, aka the best month of the year, called the month of Taurus the month of light. It's a month that is filled with light.
We're not yet in the month of Taurus.
But so the birthday
this is a trailer for the movie that's coming.
But the whole month of Taurus is in the Omer. The birthday of the Zohar is in the Omer. The day of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai revealing all the light of the Zohar is in the Omer. So the way you want to look at it is every day when you start the day, allow me to be the conduit to change the world through me being the best version that I can be today. Allow me, the Creator, to be the conduit for revealing the greatest light that I can reveal today. And remember that it's not about being perfect. It's about doing your best and let the light of the Creator do the rest.
Well put.
You do what's right.
And let the light do what's left.
Exactly.
Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also go to weeklyenergyboost.com where you'll find more energy about space cleansing and all the other interesting things we think are important for our listeners to know about. You can also click the donate button at weeklyenergyboost.com to continue to support what we do here. And as always, like, rate, review, and most importantly, share this episode. We thank you for continuing to be there for us as we be there for you.
I feel the same.
Thank you for being here and sharing your infinite wisdom with the world. And we'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost.